so amazing. You see how they playing. Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. So, with the Women's National Championship kicking off today at 3 p.m., the age-old question is, surrounding Paige Bueckers, how will her legacy be fulfilled? Will she still be considered as a great player if she doesn't win a national championship? Or if she wins a national championship, how well it does is defined. Now, it's going to be a two-part debate anyway, because people are going to say, well, she did something Caitlin Clark didn't do. And Caitlin Clark took Iowa to 2 straight national championships. And Paige, we all know her history. She lost in the Final Four a few years. Gino lost in championship to South Carolina. Paige got knocked out last year by Caitlin Clark. Now, if she wins, people gonna say, well, hey, Paige is better than Caitlin Clark. She beat South Carolina, but if you look at the team she's on, it's pretty loaded. You know what I'm saying? That's the age-old thing with UConn. They have a loaded team. They win. Their star player becomes a great player. You know, or namely a great player because they went to UConn. But if South Carolina wins, how does that impact Paige losing in the championship? You got to think. There's been other players that went to UConn that have won a title, but you don't even hear about them or talk about them. You just talk about the ones that won. So, if Paige loses today, will she be considered a great player? Just like Caitlin. Everything is surrounded around Caitlin when she took them. And the fact of the matter is, people say, oh, well, she didn't win another championship. She can't be the GOAT. She can't be one of the top 5 players in college basketball. You know, she's not the best player in college basketball because she didn't win a championship. But let me tell you something. Lisa Leslie debunked all of that a couple of days ago because she was asked that question about what does it mean for Paige's legacy. And we could go back, you know, to look at Caitlin's. Caitlin broke the all-time scoring record in college. She won numerous awards. She got robbed of freshman of the year to Paige, but she went on to beat Paige. She lost to LSU one year, came back the second year, beat LSU. But people, you know, if you listen to people, they think, well, Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark because she's beaten the national championship. But you got to think about it. We wouldn't even know who Angel Reese was if she didn't transfer from Maryland to LSU, to a loaded team, you know. So she had people around her. That just, if Caitlin had the talent, and not saying that the talent on Iowa was bad because they wasn't. They fit the system. But what if Caitlin played at UConn? What if Caitlin played at LSU? What if Caitlin played at South Carolina? Then people were like, oh, she's the greatest player of all time. But because she took a team and didn't win, but people fail to realize Caitlin won. She was MVP in UV19. She won a gold medal before at a young age, but people forget to pay attention to all of that. Same thing with Paige. They was there together. But the notion is going to be today, if Paige does not win a national championship, how great would she be? Because people going to make excuses. They're going to make excuses for her. They're going to say, well, Sarah Strong was a freshman. Oh, AZ Fudge is coming back for injury. You know, Caitlin Chang, you know, she's not Caitlin Clark. All of that. The excuses is going to come. Trust me, it's going to come. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Lisa Leslie had to say. Then I'm gonna chime back in real quick because I think this is very, very important to me.
Okay, Lisa, when I think of some of the best players in UConn history, a lot of them have championships. So how important is a championship to Paige's legacy at UConn?
Well, I think people ask that all the time.
I am curious though,
Yeah.
because
I mean, it's not that important.
You don't think
What
so?
do you mean it's not important?
No. The reason
don't
why
think
it's not,
so?
well, here's the reason why it's not important. I'm a great example of why it's
I was
not
about to say, you never won, huh?
I mean, so how would I answer that any other way? I didn't win a national championship in college. That was college, but there's a whole
There's beyond.
career beyond
You won
that.
as a pro.
But this is a good question because
so you still won at some point.
about the
but-
Yes, I won at some point. There's some people who've never won at all.
right.
Right? So that's a different conversation.
no, that's fair.
And seeing that right there goes to show you how people don't understand sports. I'm going to use the NBA for example. Michael Jordan has 6 rings. He played against played against Magic, the first one that Magic won 5. Then he played against Drexler, who finally had one or two. Then he played against Barkley, who doesn't have none. He played against not Elijah One, but Patrick Ewing, who doesn't have a ring. Reggie Miller, who doesn't have a ring. But guess what? They are the top 50 players in the NBA, and they still became great. I'm gonna use football for example. The NFL, Dan Marino, who never won a ring, but is considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Fran Tarkenton, who went to 4 Super Bowls and lost, who was named one back then in that time, was one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls, lost all, but still considered one of the best quarterbacks in the game. John Elway couldn't win in his early years, but won 2 Super Bowls later on. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm talking about right now? Because the fact of the matter is that they hold this notion of you have to have a championship to be defined as a great player. Lisa Leslie just explained that to y'all. She had never won, but she won a WNBA title. She was great in the W, but she's still considered one of the top players in the WNBA and one of the top players in college. So when we sit here and talk about this, have this conversation, and especially when it comes down to Caitlin Clark, because everything comes back to Caitlin Clark, is that the fact of the matter is she's one of the best college players of all time. And we could go back to when they asked Stewie the questions, and she said, "Oh, you have to be great. You have to win championships to be great." No, you don't. Championships are a team sport. It's a team collective sport. But we want to hold greatest or to go over that because they won championships. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, when you look at individual statistics and individual awards, you can't display that this person is not the greatest college athlete ever. Would Paige not winning today affect her? No, I don't think it will affect her at all because it hasn't affected Caitlin Clark. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Same thing what if Juju did get hurt? If Juju went to the championship against South Carolina and they lose, it's not going to affect her because she's still going to be a great player. Paige, for what Paige had went through and until she is now, that's a remarkable story. But make no mistake, what Caitlin Clark has done in the last few years, taking an Iowa team that has been flying under the radar and taking them to 2 back-to-back national championships, it's the greatest story of all time. So when people sit here and talk about this stuff, it becomes a pitiful argument because first, they don't even have the facts. First, they don't even have the information correctly. And just listen to how these ladies was laughing at Lisa Leslie. Because like, oh yeah, you're a prime example because you haven't won in college either. But this is how they think. This is how they program to think that, oh well, Lisa Leslie didn't win, and I'm glad they asked her that because Lisa put it in content that she doesn't have to she don't have to win a championship to be great, because there's other layers outside of that. Once you move on for college, when you become a pro, you know, and say, hey, well, guess what? Because Paige she will probably be the first UConn player to go to a national championship game and don't win. But is that going to affect her? No. How will her other UConn alumni look at her? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, well, hey, yeah, you went to UConn, but you didn't win on the big stage. We had won, you know. But I think Paige is going to be fine, just like Caitlin Clark is fine. Caitlin Clark still is, she's doing things that nobody in college has ever done. I just literally showed my daughter and her best friend a footage of Caitlin Clark, of how, you know, you never seen a woman shoot from 27, 29 feet. You know, these are the things. So at the end of the day, I don't think her legacy is going to be affected, because Caitlin Clark is a prime example of that. So Paige could look at it and say, well, hey, Caitlin became great and she took her team to the national championship, but she didn't win. So therefore, guess what? I'm going to be all right. And that's all you got to do is hang your hat on, I'm going to be all right, because the media is going to spin it any way they want to. They're going to spin it any way they want to. They're going to look at it differently. They're going to have all these segments. They're going to try to tear down whatever the case may be. So I look at it like this here, man. It's that I'm glad Lisa Leslie said what she had to say, because it's fitting. But now we have to just wait and see, because the championship plays today at 3:00. And a little side note, Caitlin Clark will be on the Diane Taurasi and Sue Bird show today, along with Elena Deladon as well, you know, who recently retired. But nevertheless, leave your likes and comment below. Tell me what you think. Will this affect Paige's legacy? Because it has affected Caitlin's, and I think Caitlin's a prime example of that, and Paige could take a lesson from that if she doesn't win today. So, but we already know what the outcry going to be if she doesn't win, and we already know what the outcry going to be if she does win. So I'll leave it up to y'all to debate that. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. Until the next episode, Live Wire Sports, and I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live Wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.